Talking about the posterior compartment of the thigh, we have the muscles which are the hamstrings and the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus on the medial side, and the biceps femoris on the lateral side. They make up the superior margins of the Popliteal fossa, which is an important structure, and that is why we are actually going to talk about this structure, because the nerves passing and the blood vessels passing through the posterior aspect of the thigh actually passes through the popliteal fossa and then enters the posterior aspect of the lower leg, and that is why it has to be discussed whenever we are discussing the posterior compartment of the thigh. So in this lecture we're going to take a look at the popliteal fossa, its structure including the margins of the popliteal fossa, the floor of the popliteal fossa, and the roof of the popliteal fossa. We're also going to take a look at the contents of the popliteal fossa as well in this lecture. So popliteal fossa, as you can see in this picture here, it is actually diamond shaped or a quadrilateral shaped area, and it is an area of transition between thigh and leg. It is the major route by which structures pass from one to another region. And what are the regions? They pass from the posterior aspect of the thigh to the posterior aspect of the leg, and the major structures include such as the popliteal artery and the tibial nerve, etc., which we are going to take a look into the detail in the contents of the popliteal fossa as well. So it is a diamond shaped or a quadrilateral shaped structure, as I already mentioned, and it is located behind the knee between the different muscles. And what are those muscles? As I already mentioned, that on the superolateral aspect we have the superolateral aspect we have the biceps femoris. On the superomedial aspect, we have the semitendinosus and semimembranosus. On the inferiormedial aspect, we have the medial head of the gastrocnemius. On the inferolateral aspect, we have the lateral head of the gastrocnemius, as well as the plantaris muscle. And these are actually the four boundaries or four margins of the popliteal fossa. So once again, as already mentioned, the margins of the popliteal fossa include the upper part of the diamond, which is medially bound by the semitendinosus and semimembranosus, which are actually the muscles of the posterior thigh, and laterally by the distal biceps femoris muscle, which is also the muscle of the posterior thigh, and they all make up the hamstring muscles. On the other hand, the smaller lower part of the space, because this part is smaller as compared to this part, and this is by the medial and lateral head of the gastrocnemius, which is actually a muscle of the posterior aspect of the leg instead of the posterior aspect of the thigh. And we also have the pectineus on the lateral aspect as well. Now, talking about the roof and floor of the popliteal fossa, when we are considering and discussing the structure of the popliteal fossa, so the floor is formed by the capsule of the knee joint and the adjacent surfaces of the femur and tibia. We also have the popliteus muscle just located slightly inferiorly to it, and that is why the name is given to the popliteal fossa, and because the popliteus muscle is present here as well. And as we already mentioned, that is very important muscle because that is responsible for the unlocking of the knee joint and also initiates flexion in that way. The roof is formed by the deep fascia, and the deep fascia is continuous above with the tensor fascia lata, whereas it is continuous below with the deep fascia of the leg. So here we can once again look at all those structures. So here we can see that here we have the plantaris muscle, and here we have the medial and the lateral part of the gastrocnemius, which are making the medial lower boundary and the medial lateral boundary and the lower lateral boundary. Similarly, on the upper lateral and upper medial, we have the semitendinosus and semimembranosus, and on the upper lateral we have the biceps femoris, and this is a diamond shaped structure that we get. And through this we have the structures which are passing, including the tibial nerve, the popliteal vein, and the popliteal artery, as we can see here. Another very important structure that we can see here is actually the floor. The floor is actually formed by the knee joint. As you can see, it's slightly translucent, so you can see this is actually the proximal aspect of the tibia, This is the distal aspect of the femur, and this is actually forming the knee joint, which is actually making up the floor of the popliteal fossa. Here's another small muscle known as the popliteus, and this popliteus is actually making up the floor, or you can say the lower part of the floor of the popliteal fossa. Now for the roof, we can see now here we have the fascia, or the deep fascia, which is actually making up the roof of the popliteal fossa. And we can see that these structures, which are actually the popliteal artery and the popliteal vein, they actually exit in the form of the small saphenous vein and exit and they continue down the posterior aspect of the leg. So now talking about the contents of the popliteal fossa, so the major contents are the popliteal artery, the popliteal vein, and the tibial nerve and the common fibular nerve. So talking about the popliteal artery, here we have the popliteal artery. Here we have the tibial nerve, which exits or which passes through the center of the popliteal fossa, and here we have the common fibular nerve, and here we have the saphenous vein, and here we have the popliteal vein. So this is the saphenous vein and this is the popliteal vein. Here we can see that we have the biceps femoris, here we have the semitendinosus and semimembranosus, here we have the gastrocnemius. And that's pretty much about the popliteal fossa and the medial aspect of the posterior aspect of the thigh. I hope you learned something new out of it. Thank you very much for watching sqadia.com.